the devil incarnate, trans fats. And lots have been written about that. And, the very first trans fat was synthesized in 1902. Crisco was the first one that was patented in 1911. By 1920, they had appeared in virtually all baked goods in America. They are the reason for the 10-year-old Twinkie. And the reason is because bacteria can't digest the trans fats because they can't break the trans double bond. Well, guess what? Our mitochondria are refurbished bacteria. We don't have that enzyme either. We can't cleave that trans double bond either. So basically, a trans fat sits in your liver, never comes out, ultimately leads to fatty liver, cardiovascular disease, basically, it's basically like consuming poison because you can't get rid of it. So there are your 7 fats. And we are getting way too many of the wrong ones and not nearly enough of the right ones. And because of that, we are experiencing mitochondrial dysfunction just on that basis alone.
That's a great overview. And I got a lot of nuance I want to get into within that, starting with the trans fat piece. The way I understand it, trans fats have been at least largely banned in the food supply. We did talk about how if we're cooking with certain oils, we can create them within our own kitchen. How much of a concern are they within the food supply these days in the US?
Well, the good news is that the FDA finally woke up. Took them a long time to wake up. Took a long time to ultimately do something about trans fats. And the reason was because the food industry was pushing, lobbying nonstop for them. And the answer to that is because if you put trans fats in the food, no depreciation. You can increase that sell-by date, to 3 years later, like those Hostess cupcakes, take a look at the sell-by date, then they're still good, right? They're not good. They're never good, but they're at least they're consumable. In 1957, the first paper on the toxicity of trans fats was published by a guy at the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana by the name of Dr. Fred Kumerow. And he is a hero in this story, and he is a hero to me. And he died not too long ago, maybe about 2 years ago, at age 101 or something like that. Probably because he never ate a trans fat, by the way. But he wrote about this in 1957, and basically it got lost. No one paid any attention to it. No one understood what was going on here. It didn't get resurrected again until 1988 when somebody else started working on it. And then Kumerow basically was still around, and he contributed greatly at that point because he knew and other people started to know. But it took the FDA 25 years from 1988 till 2006 before they would do anything. And the first thing they did was they said, all right, let's put the number of trans fats on the nutrition facts label. And then finally in 2013, so 25 years after, they reappeared in 1988, 25 years later, finally the FDA agreed that they needed to be banned from ultra-processed foods. So they are disappearing. And, for the most part, trans fats have disappeared from the American food supply, which is good.
Are they still able to sneak in a small amount if it falls below a certain limit, or how does that work?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So on the label, they are allowed to say that if they have if they have 0.49 grams of trans fat per serving, they can call 0.490. They round down. They should not be allowed to round down, but the FDA allows them to round down. So if you eat 4 Hostess cupcakes, you have gotten enough trans fat to kill you, because you have gotten basically 2 grams of trans fat, and you were told you got 0. So yes, they lie with numbers.
Okay. So, given the fact they lie with numbers and they can still be a problem in the food supply, for somebody that is tuning into this and they're going to ditch ultra processed foods, are there any other sources? Or if somebody's eating real food, are they going to be clear of that? I'm assuming it's just something from processing, so people should be fine if they avoid those.
Well, milk has very little natural trans fat. You can measure it in milk. Okay, so some saturated fat will be trans fat, but it is exceedingly small and for the most part not to be worried about if it's real food. Really, trans fat is a synthetic phenomenon that the food industry puts in specifically to increase shelf life. So I think that we can ignore the inherent trans fat in real food and focus on just what the industry does to sell their products. And that's what the FDA is worried about.
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
Ultimately, it's not what's in the food, it's what's been done to the food that matters. Everything fructose does to the mitochondria is designed to inhibit its functioning. It's metabolic health that drives